As far as Keller, it's a seller's market. I think 24 teams probably think that they have a chance here still to make a wild card run. So I would hold on to him because I think his performance is going to stay pretty steady. Usually we find out with Keller, he fades late in seasons. At least that's been his custom. If the Cubs have the best return, I don't care about trading him in the division. Go right ahead. You're so far away from what Chicago is right now, it doesn't matter. Yeah. They don't have a great farm system as far as what other teams who might have interests or designs on Keller could offer. I think the Cubs' best prospect in the MLB.com top 100 is like number 43 overall. They got a bunch of guys in that 43 to 70 range. That's not good enough for me. I want to try to, if it's a seller's market, I want to try to leverage that if I'm Ben Cherington and get somebody's best prospect, even if that's not what Keller should otherwise fetch. If somebody wants Bednar and Keller as a package deal, then you better knock my socks off if I'm Ben Cherington, if I'm going to deal these guys before anything close to the deadline. We got it 5 weeks here. If somebody wants these guys early, they're going to have to overpay. I just do not trust Ben Cherington to actually move the pieces around on the chessboard and play this little game correctly.
Yeah, like you said, it's been 6 years, so, we'll see how that pans out. All right, let's get to the phone lines. We have Kirk and Manor. Kirk wants to talk about O'Neal Cruz. What's going on?
Hey, guys. We got to be patient, I think. We're in our 20th year of a 5-year rebuilding program. But O'Neal Cruz, he does not deserve to play or even be on the field. That's all I have to say. Do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, kind of like what we said off the show and what Chris said off the show, he would have benched him today. They do have tomorrow off. It would have been a great 48-hour reset for him, but he was in the lineup today and he ended up playing. And so that's where we're at. And who knows, maybe this next 24 hours will be a decent reset for him, but it's obvious he needs a reset no matter what because he's letting his emotions get the best of him out there, and it's very obvious.
Well, the body language, I think, is what really bugs people, Cassidy, because and it's not like it comes off maybe to some people as disinterested. I just think it's dejected, and it's the slumped shoulders, it's the hang dog. It's like if I'm playing golf, I would say I miss a putt, and then I go, and you just look like the weight of the world's on your shoulders. I think that's what frustrates people because you don't expect to see that. You expect these guys to be a little more stoic. And what he's going to have to realize is, you can get away with occasionally a misplay here or there, or you're not running something out. And no one's asking him to run out like a one-hop smash to the first baseman where it's obvious he's going to be out by 50 feet. They're asking him to run out the plays that are obvious ones that should be run out. You can't get away with some of that stuff, though, if you're hitting 200 for the season, if you're hitting like 160 or 150 for the month of June. I'm sorry, if you're not providing the power and the thump and everything else at the plate where you can jog around the bases because you hit it over the fence, people are going to put your every action, your every misplay, the way you're carrying yourself under a microscope. And right now, he's failing those tests.
Yeah, I agree with you there. All right, let's go to David in Butler. He wants to talk about Skenes. David, what's going on?
How are you guys tonight?
Good. How are you?
Good.
I'm fine, thank you. Yes, Paul Skenes. I believe he's going to be a Bob Gibson, Tom Seaver, Jim Palmer. He's going to be a great one. But what's going to make him great is the fact that he is going to learn to go above what he's doing now to compensate for those batters. Because he's that great. He is going to rise above it. Now, whether he stays with the Pirates, who knows? But, his career is going to be a Hall of Fame career.
But David, the problem, though, the problem he's going to run into is it's not just that he's actually done what you're describing where he's overcome just putrid offense already. He usually does it. The real problem is they're screwing him up in the field, too. I'm not saying Cruz has to catch that ball in center, but I think that's a catch that, let's say, one of the best defensive center fielders in baseball, like a guy like Pete Crow Armstrong, he probably doesn't even hit the dirt to make that catch or hit the ground. Cruz clearly didn't look like comfortable coming in on that ball and having to make that sliding attempt. Gonzalez with just a terrible throw. It's bad enough that these guys can't hit. The fact that they're the gang that can't field either is what really bugs me because Skenes maybe should have gotten out of that game only having given up, I don't know, maybe 2 runs, you could say. And he didn't have his best. Don't get me wrong. He didn't. Wasn't even close to his best. But they made a lesser than great Paul Skenes day even worse by their own miscues.
Yes, I agree with you there. All right, let's change it up a bit. Go Scott in Lebanon County. Scott wants to talk about Aaron Rodgers.
Hi, Cass. Thanks for taking my call, by the way. Love the show. I hope the late, great Stan Savran didn't mind me saying that. But I wanted to talk about the possibilities of an Aaron Rodgers-Patrick Mahomes matchup. I personally think the Madden NFL video game series is as close as we'll ever get to seeing that matchup. In other words, reality-wise, I just don't see that happening.
Wild question. I mean, yeah, the only way that really happened is in the playoffs, I guess. And who knows? I mean, the Steelers, are they going to win their first playoff game in over a decade this year? Is Aaron Rodgers going to be able to lead them to do that? I don't know. I will say this, Chris, you know, you and I haven't had a chance to talk about this at all, but he was on Pat McAfee's show, and again, 30 minutes of hoopla, but basically said that this will likely be his last season playing football. And just, you know, I do think Steelers fans can kind of breathe easy a little bit easier, because I think their whole, why it was so polarizing him coming here to Pittsburgh in the first place is, oh no, is he going to bring all this drama? Is he going to create all these issues and then expect a huge deal next year and blah, blah, blah. And, you know, now that he's coming in with, quote, peace, love, and fun, you know, wanting to have that mindset, I think it is going to change the season a little bit. And maybe it is going to help Will Howard, too, help him grow into, you know, a better quarterback than he would be if Rodgers wasn't here. So, you know, we'll see how this fall pans out. But as far as him going up against Pat Mahomes, I don't really see that happening in this final year.
No, I mean, it could happen because they could sneak in as the 7th seed, and Mahomes and the Chiefs might actually not get the top seed, and then that would be a 2-7 slaughter. We have seen Mahomes go up against the last vestiges of Ben Roethlisberger and send him into retirement. I think that when you're considering the Rodgers factor, first of all, Will Howard is a 6th-round pick, folks. He is. I am going to continue to be a wet blanket here. Sounds like a very nice kid, extremely polished in front of the media. I am rooting for the best for Will Howard. We need to collectively, and Rodgers did it. He mentioned Will Howard. He wanted to mentor him. I know he played for a high-profile program at Ohio State. I know he won the college football playoff. I get all of it. He was a 6th-round pick. There's one Tom Brady, okay? There's one. And, like, we need to stop talking like this guy was the 6th overall pick. As far as the it's his last year and he's pretty sure this is it, I do think that's a positive, because I do think Russell Wilson, Cassidy, to your point about, like, trying to play for a new contract, Russ came here last year clearly expecting, like, hey, they're going to let me do my thing, and I'm going to try to get, like, another 9-figure deal, a 3-year, $110 million deal. I'll show everybody I can play. And I think there was some natural friction there between he and Tomlin and he and Arthur Smith. We know about he and Arthur Smith not getting along too well. I think Rodgers is a more authentic teammate. I think he will be better than Russ was last year, than the quarterback situation here was last year generally. I just don't know if that adds up to a playoff win, because the AFC is stacked on paper.
Yeah, agree with you there. All right, guys, we'll be right back after this. Give us a call, 412-575-2600. Welcome back to the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. We have about less than a minute left here, Chris. I wanted to get your last thoughts. We're about a month away from training camp. Do you think that there might be a new wide receiver, potentially a new face that we'll see out in Latrobe in a month, whether that's through Aaron Rodgers or bring in a Gabe Davis or someone like that in here?
I will continue to staunchly suggest that it will be Allen Lazard, because wherever Aaron Rodgers goes, usually Allen Lazard manages to turn up. So they'd have to, trade for him. That would cost like a song at this point. I'm going to just maintain that it will be Allen Lazard until such time as I find that it is not, in fact, Allen Lazard.
I'm with you, honestly. I think he's coming here as well. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight, Chris. Thank you for hanging with me. I will see you guys next time, same place, same time.